Hello, and welcome back to New to the Scene with Nick and Lance.
Hi.
As promised last week, we were going to go see the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie, and we did. And now you get to watch it. Well, watch us talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. No.
No free viewings here.
Yeah. No pirated. No bad cam from my phone version.
So, D&D movie. I guess this is technically the fourth one that has been made, but this is the first in a new series.
Oh, wait a minute. I know the Jeremy Irons one. I know the one we reviewed.
Yep, there's one called Book of Vile Darkness.
Oh,
So there's at least three.
interesting. I did not know that.
How good is the third one? I don't remember if I've seen it or not. So that's how bad it could potentially be. I might have seen it and just completely erased it from my memory.
Do you think it's like another sci-fi one?
It was. I don't remember if it was made for sci-fi, if it was made for DVD. In either case, it was a direct-to-consumer product, not a put-out-in-theaters product. And it was panned.
Oh, well, I mean, it's going to be.
Of course.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't make a good D&D movie. But maybe, just maybe, they've made one now.
Maybe this is a good one. I guess before we start talking about it and talking about what our thoughts on it, we tend to give it a score for people who want to know, like, what do we think if your interests happen to align with ours for whatever reason. We'll give you an idea, and then you'll know if it's maybe worth spending $10, $15 or whatever to go to the movie theaters.
Yeah, just we say it out front so you can decide if you want to watch the rest of us babble on about nonsense, really. But we give it a rating from 0 to 11 if you're cats. But this is not cats, so it'll be 0 to 10. Go watch our cats video. It's good.
All right, Lance, on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you give Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves?
I would give this movie a solid 8.
Okay, well, look at them guesses. Them guesses.
Wow.
Yep.
Kid's good.
Yeah, then more cat.
Yep, more cat. How about you, Nick, on a scale from 0 to 10? What would you give it?
I was waffling between...
Ah, shit. Here we go.
But I think I'm going to settle on an 8.
An 8? What was your waffle?
To 7.
So, okay, well, I would have been happy if you'd had waffled back, but, but okay, so that's a little surprising.
I mean, after, what was that, Wrath of the Dragon God, I mean, I gave that one a 7 because there's a lot in it that I enjoy. And I thought about it, I'm like, I enjoy this one more than Wrath of the Dragon God. Therefore, it deserves an actual point bump, but not enough for like a 9 or a 10.
Okay, all right. Let's fucking talk about it.
All right. So I guess before we get into spoilers, if someone is a fan of D&D, should they go see this movie?
I would say definitely. And even if you're not a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, come on, baby. I would say go see it. It's definitely worth the money. Please go see it in the theater because it's already kind of getting panned by some people that are trying to kind of push it back because of the whole TSR thing. I know that there's a lot of people hating on it right now.
Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, well, the Wizards of the Coast stuff. But it's a good flick, and I'd love to see another one just because I'd like to see like the continuing adventures. And I don't want this to be another fucking casualty of, derision.
I don't think movie ticket sales are necessarily what gets the movie a sequel nowadays. I would say if you don't want to go to the theater, I mean, I don't like going to the theater either. But rent it.
Definitely.
Or something like that when it comes to a digital.
Throw it a few shekels.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's at least, I don't know how much they spent on doing it, but I know it's got to make more than at least what was spent to make it to get a sequel. So, and I would like to see one because I think they did a damn good job on this flick.
Yeah,
so.
whether a direct sequel or maybe a spiritual sequel. Because, I mean, this one was in Forgotten Realms in favor, and maybe they could do an Eberron D&D movie.
Oh,
or maybe
man.
they can do one in another part of Faerun.
Eberron one it'd be interesting.
It would be a steampunk movie. Who wouldn't want to watch essentially a magic punk or whatever?
Did you say a Dark Sun one?
I might have said it. Was I going to say Dark Sun? I was going to say Dark Sun.
I think Dark Sun would be bleak.
It would be very bleak.
Yeah.
Or you could do like Planescape or...
I'd love...
Send people to Sigil.
Well, I'd love to see like there was an old series of books, and I shouldn't have brought this up because I'm going to fuck up the name, But there's an old series of books that had like Tan and the Half Elf. I think it was the Dragons of Summer Flame.
Okay.
So it was like some of the better D&D books that came out back in the day. I'd love to see some kind of films on those. Those would be amazing. And now that they have something that's a good D&D movie, I'd love to see the Tales of Drizzt Do'Urden.
Yeah.
I think that, or sorry, for those Drizzt.
And Guinevere.
Guinevere. Yeah. But yeah, it's...
Maybe we'd even get Dragonlance.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, but go see it, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. And I think there's enough here that even if you're not a fan of D&D, firstly, I don't know why you clicked on this movie, but also I think there's enough going on here. If you're into the standard Marvel movie, sort of kind of goofy, but it's not taking itself like super serious, but it's not like not taking itself serious per se. It's got a certain level of seriousness. They don't cut a lot of the tension moments with jokes. Like I know some people are bothered by when they do with Marvel movies where it's like tense moment joke.
Well, I mean, we could talk about that at the next Marvel movie, but it's like Marvel movies don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think this one goes as heavy with the humor as Marvel movies do. So if that was my original thought when I saw the trailers, like this is just going to be a Marvel movie, but in, Fae room. And it's not quite as bad as that.
Yeah.
Or as, even not as bad, as tuned up as that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like they give impactful moments time to simmer. So it's like my biggest problem with Marvel movies is like they'll do something serious and then someone will deliver the yuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it kind of punches that feel in the gut.
Yeah.
This one, I think they had a very good balance of it. Plus, as I've said in so many other video reviews, you give people who know the fucking property the directing and the writing, and you will get a good movie. The dudes who directed this movie, I don't know their name off the top of my head. I can look it up here in a second. But one of them is apparently he played Sweets on Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that. Amber pointed that out to me the other day. But those two dudes like played Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. So yeah, it's would I recommend it? You're damn right.
Yeah.
To a D&D player and to non-D&D players, or just role players in general. It's a good movie.
Yep. Or fantasy lovers. This one's kind of high fantasy, which is fun to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of love and care in this movie, and
I don't know how much high fantasy we've gotten lately, where it's like actual like magic and big magic being thrown around and like magic in the world. It's usually you get like Game of Thrones and that in Lord of the Rings, where it's all kind of like realistic.
Yeah,
air quote fantasy.
Low magic, and the magic is in like the items and stuff like that. Yeah. I think they kind of cracked the. I think they kind of started cracking the seal on that in a good way with some of the Marvel movies, because I know for the longest time they were talking about going into the mystic arts of it
and have not all be like tech essentially.
Right.
Where it kind of seems like it's all formulas that you're doing, and like it's let it be magic. Magic's fun.
Yeah. Don't explain it. It's like the Force. If you have to explain it, it's no longer fun.
Yeah, because everyone loved midichlorians, so don't do that with Marvel magic either.
They did what?
With midichlorians?
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, nice try. I know it's in there.
I don't know what that word is.
All right, so it's how we move on to spoilers and be forewarned. We're going to talk about plot points and characters and stuff.
We're going to gush a little bit. So.
Yeah, assume at this point, we'll assume that you've seen the movie.
Yeah, or if you haven't, go see it and then come back.
Yeah.
Please come back.
Or just mute it and let it run in the background.
Yeah, I mean, give it a like, even if you're like, these guys are clown shoes. Please. And donate to our Patreon.
It'll exist at some point, maybe.
Eventually.
Yeah.
More than 40 people watch one video. But anyways, all right, so let's go into it.
Yes.
So, talk about some of the high points that you liked in the movie.
What did I like? The druid scene was fun when she was running from the wizard. Whose name I don't remember.
You didn't have a problem with certain parts of that?
It's a fucking movie. I don't give a shit. If we were playing D&D at the table and someone's like, I do this form and this form and this form and do this form, as a DM, I'd be like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, let's calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And see, I actually asked Amber that part too. I was like, is there a druid form where you could just keep going from shape to shape to shape to shape?
Level 20.
And they're definitely not level 20.
No. I don't give a shit about what rules where they were doing. Like the wizard cast Time Stop, a 9th level spell, and Meteor Swarm, a 9th level spell. You don't get 2 9th level spell slots. I don't give a shit. It's a movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Could have been an item.
I don't think if you have an item that's casting 9th level spells for you,
It's a pretty dope ass item.
So when we're sitting at the table, the reason why I like game balance is because it kind of keep everyone important. Whereas when you let the one guy who's got the best imagination or the loosest grasp on the rules just go nuts, then all of a sudden their character is just outpacing everyone. When you let the druid wild shape ad infinitum, and they get all of those hit points through every battle, and nothing's ever a worry for them. And that's not as fun for everyone else because you're trying to keep everyone happy. It's a movie. Like if the druid is outperforming the bard, who gives a shit? The bard's funny. He's got heart. He brings the charisma to he's doing stuff for the movie that he isn't really bringing to the party. I guess.
Okay, I kind of made that. Observation when we walked out because I honestly like. The thing I think I liked most about the movie is that when they would cast a spell, I liked some of the semantic and verbal that they were putting into it. I also thought it was really interesting where there were certain things that would happen, like the paladin. When he stabbed the dragon in the head, he smited the dragon because you saw that glimmer down the blade. Like, I loved those details where they didn't have to tell you what they were doing. Yeah. But
even like when Simon would reach down and grab components from his component pouch. But it was that like a metallic thing that like rotated and he's like shield. So he's trying to like get the components for a shield spell.
Right. Yeah. I really dug those details, and like it's for most people that are not familiar with D&D, it's just fun little extra stuff that looks really cool. But like for actual D&D players, you're just kind of like, okay, I know what that was. And like that was the thing that I was really having problems with in the movie. Not in a bad way, in a good way. But I was watching for like all of that shit. The one thing, just because you said you dug how like the druid was going to the multiple shit and you didn't give a shit because it was a movie. Yeah. Is it's like, how many attacks does Holga get in a round?
So one attack roll is not one swing.
Okay.
It's presumably when you make one attack roll at first level, you're swinging a few times and you are landing the equivalent of like a blow.
Sure.
So Holga like swinging and doing a couple things is not necessarily her swinging on a guy twice is not 2 attacks per se. You're supposed to conceptualize the game rolls and turn them into things, because like hit points aren't like, oh, I got shot with an arrow, I lost in 8 hit points and I've got this arrow sticking out of me. Like a near shot to your head that like swoops by and causes you to like dodge out of the way and like twins your hip. That's hit point damage. You took hit point damage from the arrow swinging by. You can't like have an armored mage get shot with an arrow like 4 times and drop, and then the next second they're back up and going, okay, we're good, because it doesn't flow thematically per se. Okay. So you just kind of have it be like the last shot is the one that counts or something like that. That's the way I like to do it anyway, because that kind of swing, you dodge, you're losing hit points because those are your kind of like luck points to not die, and then finally the last one hits you and maybe it does some like a nice little gouge and you're on the ground.
Interesting. See, I've never thought of it that way. The way I think of it is, so you get 2 attacks around. Like I've always thought that like if you swing like thematically, if you see the guy swing 3 times, that's like one of them is the whenever he goes to attack, that's not the attack per se, like the first one where the guy like parries. There's no parry in D&D, so like if he parries off the blade, then that's just the added flourish to make it look cool. But then like the next one would be the attack that hits, and then the one that misses is like the swing where the guy like ducks out the way. In my mind, because most things start out with an AC of at least 10. That's unarmored. I'm just kind of standing here, you know. Yeah,
and you're not undexterous. You're not. Well, right. So in order to have a 10, you have to at least be trying to avoid.
Right. But like that's I'm not using my dexterity. I just have 10. I'm not wearing armor and I'm not trying to dodge.
Well, you're at least, if you are an AC 10 and someone's swinging at you, that's because you are trying not to be hit. Even if your dex is 0, you at least see it coming. Because if you weren't dodging at all, they would hit you, or they'd roll with advantage or something like that. Because I am not trying to dodge it. I'm trying to let them hit me. Now you're just letting chance take over. Hence why they would have advantage or something.
Well, see, in my mind, it was like if you rolled 1 to 10, it was like it was just a flat miss. If it was 10 to up to where your armor class was, it was a hit, but it didn't get through the armor. And if it's the equal to your armor class and above, that was the arrow. Like if it's 1 point, it's like the arrow that gets through, but like just tip get you or something like that, depending on the damage you roll. So that was to me kind of in my mind what I envisioned it.
Sure.
I really dig the way that you were.
Well, see, the way I interpret it is kind of like when we were playing Rapid FX. And you're like, I want to shoot an arrow into this thing and then cast heat metal on it. So the reason it doesn't jive in my head is because you don't shoot it with an arrow and now it's got an arrow stuck in it and now it's got metal in it that you can heat up. Because a short rest later, it could all that damage could be gone or whatever. So and you really get shot with an arrow, you would need healing or something like that. That's why you're on the ground dying or something.
Okay. I mean, I kind of dig that.
Because then you watch how through all the attacks against the wizard, like in the last fight, how many attacks did Holga really get hit by? Maybe a few, and it was really that kind of last one that really mattered.
Well, it was a what was it?
A MacGuffin blade.
Yeah, it was the MacGuffin dagger that nothing could be done for that.
Yeah, the only thing that can heal it is this MacGuffin.
Yeah, but at least they had that MacGuffin like in the foreground the entire time.
I mean, MacGuffin doesn't mean bad. It just means it's the plot thing.
Right.
Here's the little bit of thing that keeps the plot going, and you just kind of go, okay.
It's just as long as they can subvert your expectations with the MacGuffin.
And they didn't.
So I kind of saw it going in that direction, but at the same time, it did kind of surprise me. Mm-hmm. But like the one thing I did lean over halfway through the movie and whisper to Amber is I said, "It's Michelle Rodriguez. She has to die." And then, like, you know, like, I think she read the script and was like, okay, I seem to be okay at the end of this movie. I have to die. And they're like, how about if you die and then you get saved by the MacGuffin thing? And she's like, okay, that's acceptable.
Well, I mean, you could kind of... Every time he went back to his wife and you saw, like, the blue dragon fly or whatever, and even, like, during that, like, one little scene in which she's going to the window and she's like, you just have to let it go. Let it go. I'm like, okay, let it go. It's been years. Let it go.
Yeah.
It's okay. And he's like, "No, I'm gonna bring her back with this magic MacGuffin thing." I'm like, okay, we'll see about that.
Yeah, and they go through great pains to basically let you know the wife dies when the daughter is a baby, so she doesn't know her as mom. She knew Holga as mom.
Yeah.
So
it's even, I can't remember who said it. Like, you're not doing it for you. You're not doing it to save her mom. You're doing it to save your wife.
Right. Yeah, I thought that line was very, very impactful. I also thought it was interesting. With that whole MacGuffin, no more MacGuffin. Don't say MacGuffin anymore.
What was it? Was it a tablet?
Yeah, it was like a little tablet.
Or resurrection. I forgot what they call it. It's a MacGuffin.
Yeah, it was like a little resurrection tablet, basically. Yeah. That I guess you didn't have to spend the diamonds on or whatever.
If you put a spell into an item, you expend those when you put it in. You spend the diamonds when you cast the spell.
Got it. So you use the items of creation to make said item. Got it.
So if you make a scroll of Revivify, 300 gold, right off the rip, and then the cost of making a scroll.
But like, yeah, that's the other thing I whispered to Amber at some point, and I was like, why don't they just take the mom to a church and pay for the... I mean, he's obviously got a little bit of money. Just take her to the church and have them cast Resurrection. But yeah, it was... I thought that... I'm not going to say that I saw it coming, but at the same time, it did kind of surprise me. Mm-hmm. Because the second she got stabbed, I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't thinking about that.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be Holga or if it was going to be someone else, but it was just kind of that he's got this thing. He's not going to use it on the wife, so how's it going to get used?
Yeah. And I thought it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, like...
So I don't think this movie does anything like super new and original or anything like that. Most of the beats you kind of see coming, but it's fun, and I think that's the important bit.
Yeah, the beginning part with I was really hoping that Homeboy would be like that whole part
was good. It
was so good, and like how he kept rounding on that through his story, and he's like, so is he on the way? And it's like, we've already told you he's on the way. Get on with it.
Yeah. So like I didn't necessarily see that one coming because they kind of set it off like, oh, Jonathan's got a soft heart. He's going to see what we're going through. When really we're going to push him out the window and ride an Arakoker to the ground.
Yeah, we've already paid him. We really need him to like sway the rest of the people. And then they fucking break through the window. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. And I also liked when Hugh Grant tried to do it at the end of the movie. They bricked up the window. That shit was hilarious. But anyway, sorry. What was anything else that like stood out in the movie to you? Like something else that kind of grabbed your attention?
I liked the Red Wizard. She was fun.
She was interesting.
Just
very intense.
She's a fanatic.
Yeah, very intense.
And she's dealing with a bunch of people that she hates to do her job or whatever. So she's got that kind of like I hate being here or whatever, and that kind of brings some fun energy to it. I think. Her always being there for the most part and being set up as a villain. That's good. I'm glad they didn't have a battle with Zaz Tam at the end because he was the guy in the background. Bringing him to the forefront to have him, fight him wouldn't have had as much impact. Whereas you had her time stop, and that was what got him caught in the beginning. They foiled her time stop this time.
And did they do something in particular to do that? Like, I know Homeboy got his counterspell off.
Yeah, he got his counterspell off.
But, like, when you're counterspelled, like, I guess we play it in our game where it's like, I'm going to cast this.
No, they
like, the spell doesn't go off.
They succeeded on their bluff check to make it I don't know. They did... Who knows how counterspell works?
Yeah.
Maybe counterspell, all it does is make it so you guys aren't affected or something like that. I think there's a lot of ways you could make spells look, because I think a lot of people would say at the end when Simon and the Red Wizard were fighting, she'd cast Bigsby's hand and he cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp because it was made of stone. They could both be Bigsby's hands. There's no reason it has to be Maximilian's Earthen Grasp because it's made out of stone. It is essentially... You make the spell effect look like what you want. She wanted her Bigsby's hand to be some gross, necrotic-looking hand. He wanted his to be like some little stone hand, whatever.
Okay. See, I thought they were both Bigsby's grasping hand. Like, that's what I thought it was. But, like, I didn't know that you could, like, like...
Oh, yeah, Bigsby's hand is fun. That's a great spell. In the game we're playing, it's so tempting to want to take it, but it doesn't work thematically. Because you can do it's bonus action. You can like interpose it between people. It's all of the old hands in 3.5. Bigsby's grasping hand, Bigsby's interposing hand. They're all just Bigsby's hand in 5th edition. That one spell does all of those things. And as a bonus action, you get to decide what it does. Does it like grab someone? Does it like squeeze them for damage? Does it just like flat out punch them? Does it like hang out between you and them?
Can it flick somebody away and stuff? Or
it can't push people away, but it can prevent people from walking toward. And I think you need like a 26 strength to push through it.
Damn.
Yep.
Wow. What level is that?
6th level spell, I think.
That's why I've never had it.
It's a good spell.
Because we never get characters past 12.
I think you get... No, we're not. Don't you get 6th level spells at 12?
You get 3rd level spells at 5.
It's 3 at 5.
4th at 7. 5th at 9. 6th at 11. Okay, so...
It just wasn't as tempting as some of the other options. You look at... There's a bunch of cool 6th level spells, and I think you only get one casting of it.
Well, it's like every odd level is where the cool shit is. First level, you got shield, and you got some other fun little spells. Then at 3rd level, fireball and lightning bolt, of course.
Oh, that's 5th level. You mean 3rd level spells?
3rd level.
Spells, okay.
Yeah, 3rd level, you get fireball and lightning bolt. Like 4th level spells, I remember when I was picking my 4th level spells, I was like, trash, 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 trash. I guess I'll just do battlefield control. I might be wrong. Put down your favorite 4th level spells in the comments for wizards, because I've never played a sorcerer yet. But yeah, like, this movie to me was a very pleasant surprise. It had Easter eggs out the fucking ass.
Yeah.
Did you see the rust monsters?
Yep.
Okay.
Fighting over a bit of rust, like...
It was like a buckle or something.
Yeah, like what are you doing in a city where there's just rust monsters everywhere, and why are your characters not freaking the fuck out?
That's it. Amber didn't see it.
Oh, really?
But when they were walking down the stairwell and they showed the rust monsters fighting, I would literally went, ah! And she was like, what? And I said, you didn't see that? And she goes, what? See what? I said, you didn't see the rust monsters? She goes, no, I guess I missed it. I was like, yeah, they had the big feathery fucking antenna and they were fighting over a buckle or some shit.
And you have flashbacks?
Yeah, dude. Like, that fucking... So in one of the games that we played in the past, just to get it out the way real fast, I played a fighter. We were, 3rd level?
No, you were higher than that.
Were we?
Because you had a mithril breastplate that I disintegrated that dungeon too.
Yeah. So, would you tell the tale?
No, I'm just saying. Because at the beginning, there was a bunch of pools of black ooze, and you happened to walk up to one and be like, what's all with all this ooze? And it reached up, touched you, and disintegrated your mithril armor.
Keep in mind that my character knew what it was. Like, I knew what it was. My character didn't.
I don't think you knew the black ooze. You knew the rust monster.
Yes, but I still walked up to it and fought it.
You walked up to the black ooze. I got you at the black ooze, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to wear some armor that's not quite as good for this dungeon. And you did the dungeon. You open up a room. I described some little beetle-like creatures with like frilly antennas, and you're like, we shouldn't go in there. I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, can we roll some checks? I'm like, go for it. 7. Like, why don't you want to go in there? You've charged into every other room and swung your weapons at things willy nilly.
I-
Why is rooms with bugs with feathery antennas stopping you guys?
I remembered that differently. What I remembered is that you said that we go into an area that was like a pen, and there were like 3 things in there, and the way you described them was not like a description of a rust monster. You gave it like a different description,
Which I might have
and
done.
in my head I went rust monster, even though you didn't, because like this, any GM can be like insect, 6 legs, it has this, and this, and most people just be like, okay, that could be this. But the second you say feathery antenna, people are like, fuck that, and won't go in there. You described it differently, and I still had the impression that it could have been a rust monster, and I remember looking at you and go, my character wouldn't know what that is.
Okay.
So I go in there and fight it. And then you disintegrated my fucking weapon, and I was like, okay, there it is. And then later on in the dungeon, I'm all crestfallen using a backup weapon, and then there's a grate, and he says, oh, you see something swirling beneath the grate. And I was like, oh, what is that? And I kind of looked, and something went and touched my fucking breastplate, and my mithril breastplate just disappeared.
That was the beginning of the dungeon.
Yeah, and then I remembered somebody was like, man, you're double fucking him in this dungeon. And Nick was like...
I added enough money. This is back in 3.5. I increased the amount of money that dungeon had by the cost of his weapon and his armor, so he could just go buy new ones just for that dungeon.
Yeah, everybody else
he got a little disintegrated.
Everybody else got to spend their money on other bullshit. I got to buy my stuff back with that money. Very fair.
And that was something you always wanted to campaign. It went to 20.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It was a good game. It was a very good game. But yeah, you fucked me.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but
it's put a dragon. Your warriors will charge it without hesitation. You put a rust monster, and they hide, cowering behind the wizards.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard. Anything else in the game, it's easy to. Rust monsters are literally the only fucking thing that I can think of off the top of my head that most people won't metagame and like won't charge in. Like you could start describing a vampire, ghoul, werewolf, and people are like, fuck it, let's fuck this shit up. The second you say feathery antenna, anyone who wears fucking armor in the game or has like, a fucking steel weapon, they're just like, yeah, let's not do that. It's fucking low.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Why don't you? I tend not to use rust monsters.
Well,
I think that's the only time.
Mean.
I think that's the only. I don't like taking stuff away from you, especially since I'm the one that gave it to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could really be more of a dick if you're a dick GM, because I think like Shatter is supposed to destroy shit on you.
It's if you are wearing it in 5th edition, at least. If you're wearing it, it doesn't damage your thing. Back in 3.5, if you fail saves, like if you roll nat ones on saves and stuff, it's supposed to be damaging potentially other things that you're wearing, but it's not worth tracking hit points for the items you're wearing.
Yeah.
It's just too much bookkeeping. Who cares? And also, it's not fun for me to fireball you and your necklace of, amulet of natural armor shatters. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? What's the point?
If you're playing in a game where people are that hardcore, good for you, because that's a GM that really likes to punish you and put a lot of stuff into the game, but it can really kind of murder like people's will to play.
It's easy for me to throw Mordecai's disjunction on a mage, but why? Is that fun for you? Make a saving throw. Now all of your magic items make a saving throw, and it's just not fun.
No, that's not fun at all.
It's too much like stop and everyone wait and see what happens. It's kind of like why don't we really use color spray all that, or not color spray, prismatic spray all that often? Because I picked it up because it sounded funny. Then I used it in the campaign, and I killed everybody.
And you wiped everybody in the first round.
I'm like, oh, okay. Oops.
Yeah, what was it? A beholder beam?
That first one. The first time I color sprayed, I've only color sprayed you twice. The first time in both times, it was near party wipes. First time it was a party wipe. The second time it was a near party wipe.
Well, it was 5 players, 4 people.
5 or 6.
I think it was It was 6.
For players, I don't remember. And then you guys went into a room with the anti-party. They were kind of like 2 fighters, a cleric and a wizard, kind of meant to be like you guys fighting an antithesis party. And the mage had color spray.
Yeah, and you opened up with that.
Yep.
It was like, welcome to my dungeon. Fucked you. And it was like, I think a couple of insta-death.
Hey, cut it out. It's time to dig.
Are you done?
Apparently, it must not have been a very comfortable part of the floor.
Okay. You're huffing. Jeez. Fuck, I forgot what I was talking about.
I forgot what I was talking about too.
It must not have been that important.
No,
no.
It was D&D stuff.
It was the color spray. You
Oh,
hit us with the color spray.
Yeah.
You instantly killed a couple of people.
No, I didn't instantly kill anyone. I teleported Amber the Rogue to a different plane of existence. I made the healer permanently insane. So every time it was his turn, he either ran out of the room screaming, or he got to act normally, and then undo the round of running, only to next turn run away screaming again. I think you took like a little bit of damage and made it out okay. The dragon made it out okay. Dragon being one of the PCs made it out okay. And the big beefy tank guy that you guys had, he was fine. He wasn't fine when I held person and then coup de grace him. That's when he died.
Yeah.
He murdered the guy's brother. The wizard got a hold person on him, and then happened to coup de grace with a Sith, which back in 3.5, that's a ×4 crit.
Yeah.
And then you have to make a DC equal to the amount of damage you take or die. I'm like, he could probably make a DC, because he was making stupid high DCs. I'm like, what's this, like 40? He can make a DC 40. Oh, he's dead. Oops. Uh-oh.
Jeez. Oh, man, we've had a lot of good times at the table. Oh, that was a brutal game.
I let you guys be monsters.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, it was.
Was that when I was playing the troll?
You started out with the troll, then you swapped to the drow mystic theurge.
That's right. Okay. Man, that was a good game.
Yeah.
And then, like, the dragon was the kobold?
Yeah, the kobold that wished to become a dragon.
That's right. Say down in the comments below if you want us to, like, reminisce on some of our old games. There were some good ones.
Yeah, if you want to hear us talk about D&D, let us know.
Or if you want us to start recording our games. And that way, Nick will have to let me bring the recording equipment.
Once we get a second game, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah. So, anyways, who's your favorite character in the movie?
I don't know. It might be Chris Pine, because I liked him. I liked Holga, too. She was fun.
She was. They were all good.
They were good.
Simon was great. The Druid was great. The only character I wasn't crazy about was Ford. I mean, it was only... Forge? Yes. But the only reason I wasn't crazy about him is because he was over-the-top sinister.
That's fun.
Well, I mean, it was fun, but it was like... The dude never had a moment of panic. Mm-hmm. Like, whenever they were sitting in the room together, and they're just kind of like... And then they went to go charge him, and they got got grabbed by the throat. There was never a doubt in his mind that was going to happen. You know? Like...
So I mean... Maybe you're not that powerful, but you got like the 9th level spellcasting wizard right behind you. You're fine. What are they going to do to you?
Yeah, but I mean...
The bard doesn't even cast spells.
But even if you were like readying an action to be like, if these two do anything, I'm going to do this like spell real fast. Mm-hmm. There's even getting the drop on someone, and at least like... He was a bard. He could have thrown a dagger at him or some shit, you know? Like, all she did was grasp him with the floor. There's, like, so many other options they could have done to, like, basically get a hit on him. If Holger would have thrown her axe at him, he would have been fucking done. But it was just, he was so comically over the top that it was charming, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, at least sweat a little bit. Show that you're at least fearful of these people. Just a hair, just so we know, you know, that they are a presence, a force to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm. And in that scene, did you notice the callback to the Dungeons and Dragons movie? The carpet that turned to like mud and captured them happened to snails in Dungeons and Dragons. He walked on a rug and it was like quicksand or whatever.
I did not catch that. Interesting. Okay.
I think she cast transmute rock to mud.
Okay.
But it was trapped floor essentially. I don't know.
Yeah, it was neat. It was definitely a neat effect. I think my favorite character in this movie was Chris Pine. Just because his character was very charming.
Yeah.
What class was he?
He was a bard.
Are you sure? Because he never cast a spell.
Yeah, he's a bard. Again, like when it comes to rules or whatever, like back in 3.5 or whatever, bards weren't amazing spellcasters.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They were charming guys, and they would inspire the party. And I think he was there inspiring the party, like when Olga was doing the brick fight, and he's like, "You got this. We're doing great." I mean, that's That's bardic inspiration or whatever.
Yeah, so I did note that he was giving out bardic inspiration, but like I never saw him cast a spell, which is something that is important to bards.
But I also think it's confusing to people who don't know the world.
Okay. Well, I was trying to rationalize with Amber. It was like, what exactly did he bring to the party other than like keeping them moving and like inspiring them? But it was like he was the mastermind.
They didn't really have Doric casting that many spells either, did you? Or did they? They mostly had a wild shaping. It's like they took what the class did and reduced it to keep it simple.
Well, yeah, what the class is mainly known for, and basically push that into the forefront.
So you take the druid wild shapes. So that's what it doesn't matter that a druid is a full caster or whatever. Mm-hmm. She's here to be like an owl bear or turn into animals, and that's kind of like the focus of it.
Well, now that you say that, I guess that's true. Like, if you had other people casting spells, I guess that would diminish Simon's time on camera.
And even like when Zenk was in, he wasn't really like slinging spells. He was mostly smiting.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it that way.
That's my thought anyway. Is you'd have the bard be able to inspire, but also be a competent spellcaster. Does that take away from Simon? Therefore, you just downplay that part to where he's just more of a music guy and an inspiring leader, and leave the spellcasting to your wizard. You leave your or to your sorcerer. You leave your melee stuff to Holga, and you leave your kind of control or whatever to the druid, the one turning into animals. And
she was dope.
She was cool,
and I liked her armband slingshot. I thought that was pretty dope too.
I also really like the hither tither staff.
Hither tither, yeah. But see, the other thing I thought that was really funny about that was hither tither staff. Well, that's about 500 yards. Like he was already saying the rules.
Yeah.
That's about how far away is that? That's so hither, tither.
And then it made the portal gun sound.
Yeah, and then he was just doing the. Now I'm on the East Bank. Now I'm on the West Bank. Yeah, I thought that part was really good. I also liked the. I get to ask 5 questions. Why 5 questions? And he's like, I don't know. That's just the way it works.
Did that count as a question? Yes.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yeah, that part was amusing. And then, of course, because I'm a fucking idiot, when it was like, hello, you still have a question? And I looked at Amber, I was like, surely this has a duration. And she's like, I think it's just supposed to be fun. Yes. And I was like, okay, then I'm looking at the wrong points.
I mean, if you're looking for what is the spell supposed to do, you're supposed to have an intact throat.
True, and I think the body's not supposed to move. It's just the mouth is supposed to move, right?
Yeah, they just kind of talk.
Okay,
but that's not cinematic.
It's not fun. Yeah.
You have the skeleton sit upright, like bolt upright, and start answering questions and giving back more because they're supposed to be the basic memories left in the body answering questions.
Well, that was the part that I anticipated. As soon as he was like, hello, you still have one more question? Oh, bother. As soon as he said that, I leaned over to Amber and said, that's going to be the after credit scene, I guarantee. Hello, is anybody out there? Yeah, I knew that was coming. What was your favorite scene? Because I have 2 of them.
I'm not sure. I really liked the carriage heist was kind of fun.
With the picture?
Yeah, where he came up and slapped the picture to the bottom of the carriage. They banged out the things.
It's very good.
And what originally looked like in the previews, where she dimension doored, she was instead doing the hither tither like through the portal.
Right.
Now she's thinking with portals.
Yeah, that part was very, very good.
Mm-hmm. And you could see the party making failed rolls, but essentially the enemies making failed rolls too. It's kind of like they made a perception check to see the barbarian over there holding someone's legs, and they're just kind of like, that's weird. Anyway,
see, I was hoping I was hoping they were going to do a part for you when the picture fell down on its face and she started like scratching at the ground.
She was going to do that.
I was hoping she was going to do the Samara out of the like push the fucking picture up. I was really hoping she was going to do that for you, and she was like, all I need is a little bit of time. She started digging, and I was like, okay, I know what she's doing. Yeah. I really love the dragon scene.
Oh yeah, with Thembershad.
Yeah,
he was great.
Oh my god, and Amber even did that. We had an asshole in our theater, which kind of threw off the vibe at the beginning. Did she tell you about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't let him get away with it either. I was not in the wrong. Matter of fact, I'm going to just tell you what happened, and you can tell me if I was in the wrong or not. We went in the theater. It was me, it was Amber, John, and myself. And we were just chatting before the trailer started. And then the second it was like, you're going into trailers, like the trailer hadn't even started, this dude turns around and he goes, could you please be quiet? And like, he's staring at me. He's fucking like mean mugging me. And I was just like, and he goes, thank you. And I said, you're welcome? And then, like, he sat back down, and then, like, John started lampooning him, so I started lampooning him, but we're still talking very quietly. And it's, like, in the second trailer.
Yeah.
And he's like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, you know, what the fuck is your problem? I said, are you the kind of guy that tells people to be quiet during trailers at your house? You know?
Or during commercials.
Yeah, or during commercials, exactly. And he was like, just shut the fuck up, Jesus Christ. And I was like, hey, you're a fucking asshole. You know? And then he didn't say anything else the rest of the movie. And then we were on our good behavior. Because we're not those people who usually do that.
It's just during the trailers, whatever.
Yeah, like, the shit is on your computer. Like, it's on your phone if you want to watch a trailer.
Back in the day, there used to be, several trailers in front of a movie because that's where you saw movie trailers. Nowadays, when they show a single trailer in front of a movie, I'm like, hurry the fuck up. I don't want to see this shit.
Agreed. Yeah, you've already seen it.
You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see the fucking movie because it's already 2 hours. Like, let me watch the movie and go home. I don't want to be here. Yeah. I want to watch movies at home. I don't want to go to the theater anymore.
No, I agree with you. And back in the day, it was also one trailer for the movie, and now there's at least fucking 4 for every movie that comes out. So it struck me as strange. Don't get me wrong. I'm the person that will turn around and tell you to shut the fuck up if you're talking very loudly during the movie. But like,
but during a trailer, I think it's kind of expected that like after a movie trailer hears, you might hear someone say, "Yeah, we're going to go see that." And I mean, that's part of going to the theater. Like hearing people get excited about trailers and being like, "Oh, I didn't know that was coming out," or like behind you, and it doesn't fucking matter because it's a movie trailer.
Yeah.
Do you really need them to shut up during the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer?
And that's exactly what it was too. And I think all I said to make him basically get all pissy was I was like, I heard that this was produced by Seth Rogen. And he's like, could you please be quiet? Thank you. And I was just like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? I'd like to say that guy was an asshole, but I did notice that he got up like halfway through the movie to use the bathroom and he ducked on his way past the seats.
I think he's maybe taking all this shit way too seriously.
Yeah, or he just had a bad fucking day,
maybe.
You know? But... whatever.
Just taking it too serious. You go in and you like, man, these people are going to talk through the entire movie. I'm going to put a kibosh on it now. It's a trailer. Once the movie starts and they start...
Yeah.
Because like when I went to the theater, like the trailer's finished and it was kind of doing the starting thing. And then a couple of people came walking in. Like they had just started around. They had like the little flashlight out. And they were... You know that noisy quiet?
Yeah.
Where you're like... You and a couple of your kids are trying to be quiet, but you're really being loud as fuck.
Right.
But you're really trying to be quiet, and it's over here this way. Yeah. And it's saying okay. It was over quick, and it was during the opening crawl where they're showing like what is it?
Snowswept Field.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I was trying to think of the name of the place, Icewind Dale.
Yes.
When they're showing off Icewind Dale or whatever, I'm like, it's annoying, but whatever.
Yeah. It's just
it's over and done with.
Yeah, it just kind of pissed me off, and at the end of the movie. If the guy would have stuck around, I was just going to be like, dude, what's... I was going to address it.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not that people. We are not the people who talk loudly during the movie. And it kind of... I don't know. But anyways...
It also depends on what the movie is, too. If there's... I think I've gone to the theater once before with, like, me and Tim. And then there was, like, another group of 3 people in the back. And, like, during the trailers, they were kind of, like, whispering and whatever. And I looked back to them, like, there's just us in here. You guys we can talk if we want, right? And they're like, yeah, okay. So during the movie...
I was with you on that one.
Well, maybe it was you then.
Yeah.
Maybe me and you instead of me and Tim. We're like, does anyone care? We can just talk, right? And
I think that was Dragon Ball, wasn't it?
No.
Or maybe that was Avatar. I don't remember, but I do remember we went in there and there was like just 3 other people that were in the back, and I remember you turn around and be like, "So we're cool about this, right? We could talk during the theater," and they're like, "Yeah, totally."
Yeah. And then we talked at like a normalish volume, and we went to watch a shit movie.
Yeah.
And there was one other group in there, so we all just talked during it because who gives a shit?
Yeah, it was Dragon Ball where like
it's Dragon Ball. You weren't going to go unless you weren't going to go alone. And Joe and I didn't want to go with you, and you were only going to see the movie if I went, and I was only going to go if I didn't want to go. Like I didn't want to go at all.
You wanted
if Joe was. I only didn't want you to go alone. That's what it was. I didn't want you to go alone. Joe didn't want to go, so it was both of us had to be there in order for you to not go alone. I'm like, I don't want to see this movie. It's going to suck. And then we went to see it, and it sucked.
But we had a lot of fun.
Because we went to a theater that had seats. An alleyway for the restaurant part of it to serve you food, so you were further from people. Therefore, you could talk a little bit louder and not be heard by the people who were essentially 2 aisles behind you or 2 aisles forward. So the 3 of us sitting next to each other were eating dinner at this movie theater and also just ripping on it because it was trash. And then afterwards, like as we were kind of like laughing and going to the aisles after like everything had done playing, some kids behind us were like, "So what'd you guys think of it?" And we're like, "Trash," and they looked disappointed.
Yeah, they were into it. I also remember going. I think I went and saw Avatar with you guys, the Last Airbender live action.
I didn't go see the laugh.
I think I went and saw it with Joe. I'm not sure, but I had never seen the cartoon, and we went and saw the movie. And I remembered whoever it was I went and saw it with, they were like, "This movie fucking blows." And because I had no frame of reference because I'd never seen the cartoon, I was like,
"Really?
It was okay, I guess." And then I went and saw the cartoon. Now I really want to go back and watch the movie again to see what I think.
It's bad.
Oh yeah, no.
But it's more that it's truncated and it loses the weight a lot of times.
Sorry, we're known for inanities around here.
It's even worse because we inanity when we play Dungeons and Dragons, and now we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, it's super inanities. Yeah, but like Thimbershad was great. I thought that was fantastic.
Thimbershad was good.
I thought the way that they the way the CGI and everything like that, the way it kind of flowed with the actors and everything, I thought it looked fucking flawless.
Yeah, I liked the last battle. It was fun because I think it was like one of the first times they all attacked. Which is a little thing I found annoying was like when the wizards or whatever, if they came up and Zenk was like, "I'll take care of this." Like, no, can we have everyone take care of him, please?
Get the party on it.
Can we have the party on it? And like during like the fight with when Holga and Egwin, whatever his name is, Chris Pine, not Pratt, we're breaking out. Only Holga was fighting until the very end.
You're doing great.
You're doing great. So it seemed and a lot of the times it was one person fighting a group of people. I'm like, that's not as fun as having everyone fight.
Yeah.
So when it was the last fight versus the wizard and everyone was joining in, I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Then you even got the Hulk moment at the end with her, with the owl bear smacking the.
Yeah.
And then she kept moving, so she smacked her again.
Puny God.
Yeah, Puny God.
Yeah.
So there's not shit in here that's original.
That's true.
But it's fun.
Another part that I thought was really, really fun was attunement.
Yep.
I really thought that was cool.
It was cool.
Because you had to
make a game rule and put it to like why the fuck is this a thing?
Yeah, and like I even said that to Amber. I said, "Thank God we don't have to do that for everything we ever have to attune to in the game." And Amber said, "Well, maybe it's because it's a legendary item, or maybe it's an artifact."
I wondered if it was intelligent.
Well, it would have had to have been because it had Elminster in it, right?
But that was him talking to like his.
Yes.
His so I wonder if that was like the intelligent item taking on the persona of someone, and once he finds like you're gonna listen to me, he turned to him. Maybe that was like the last person who attuned to it is the person who comes and fucks with you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I thought that was really interesting how he finally like succeeded at the 0 hour, and then I love how it meant nothing.
Well, they walk in, they finally do their thing, and it's just more of I think that moment was him getting the confidence necessary to like do things later. Right.
But I loved how that was like, it was the thing, and then they used it for the thing they needed it for, and it was just, there was nothing in there.
Yeah, they were stealing the money.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. And she's like, I don't know where you are, but like, the druid's like, I'm in the room, and like, all the shit is here, you know? I thought that part was fantastic.
I like the Speaking Stones feedback. I thought that was kind of funny.
Speaking Stones feedback?
Yeah, like when... Well, I have these little speaking stones that only last for an hour, and the druid talking to it loudly, and it kind of came through all of them, so you got the feedback.
That was neat.
Yeah.
That was cool. I liked that you saw concentration check.
Yep. Yeah, she was animating an object, and she got smacked in the head and lost her concentration.
Yeah, and then it turned to stone. I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, and I know this, like, there's probably someone watching this right now who's like, fucking nerd! But, like, I was just, every time something like that would happen, I was like, concentration check, there was that. Mm-hmm. Then, like, basically I was calling out what I was seeing. But I love that they paid that much attention to, like...
It's not like if you're just watching the movie, it's just part of the movie. But when you're a fan of the game or whatever, you can see the bits and bobs of what they're doing kind of like codified.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But it's just, I went in there with no expectations. Zero. Absolute zilch. Because I have been burned before.
After the trailers, I was expecting to have about as much fun with a Marvel movie. And is it going to have as much fun as some of the worst Marvel movies, which is a very low amount of fun? Or was it going to be some of the higher ones? It ended up being a lot. I was worried it was not going to take the source material serious, like at all. As long as it doesn't have to pick like, you don't have to make it this shit Lord of the Rings where everyone's fucking crying at the end and all that. Like, just take it serious. Don't like joke on my hobby.
Right.
Like, don't like, fucking nerds. Like, look what we're doing with your shit. Like, at least be reverent or whatever. Like, it's important to some people.
No, you're right. I was worried about it.
And then have fun with it.
Yeah, no, it set a tone in the beginning of it where I thought it was going to be that. It was going to be fucking really slapsticky.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I felt like it had a good balance of that. And then I felt like it was slapsticky when he did the illusion of him. But that part was so fucking funny.
It was funny. And it was a guy losing concentration while he was trying to do a spell. Like, what does it look like when you're losing concentration? Well, all of a sudden your illusion turns horrific.
It was just so fucking fun. Like, I was horrified watching it, and then when it started going really, really bad, I was like, oh my god. And then those dudes that were watching it were horrified too. They're like, what is happening? Like, that part had me laughing so hard in the theater. Amber, I think she almost busted a gut laughing at that part. But yeah, it was the most pleasant surprise of the season so far. It's just so good.
It was good. I think it's worth watching.
Oh, I also thought it was funny that they put out D&D figures.
Mm-hmm.
And Rokor, the black dragon, at the beginning of it. Or Raycor.
The one that, like, flew over the battlefield and, like, okay.
Yeah. He has a figure. And he was in the movie all of...
one sweep.
Yeah. One sweep, but they have not done a Thimbershot yet. I thought they should...
They've got a Thimbershot pop cap.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Pop cap?
Or not, what is it? Pop?
Funko Pop?
Funko Pop, that's the one.
Okay, I haven't seen that either.
No, he's a chonker.
Yeah, I
resist the urge to go, to say, oh Lord, he's coming, during that part of the scene in the movie.
And Amber, she actually leaned over and said that, because when you saw his eyes in the tunnel, you could tell he was already dragging his belly through. Yeah, that part was...
The one part in which he lost balance and then just rolled. and just stuck with it.
Yeah, and even though he was rolling, he was still like... tried to take a bite of that dude. That part was so fucking funny. And then Amber thought it was hilarious that he was so portly that he couldn't really get his breath weapon to go. Because, like, he kept opening his mouth and you kept seeing those pops.
Yeah.
But
I think that's recharging maybe as well.
Okay. She took it as he was...
Yeah, he can't... it's not so reliable anymore.
Yeah, it's not anywhere near as reliable as it used to be. But, like, he was really good.
I like that it wasn't flying around either.
Yeah, oh god, how would that have... little tiny wings on the back. But yeah, that part had me in stitches. I also like the bridge scene. This bridge is trapped. And then they go through the whole thing of doing the dance to get across the bridge. And he's like, I think I stepped on the bridge. I did not know it started here. That part was so good.
That was good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and see it in the theater one more time.
I'm not gonna go to the theater again, but I might actually purchase this one on preferably DVD or Blu-ray rather, but if only digitally, then maybe.
That's high praise. If you're actually gonna pick up the disc.
I picked up Violent Night
At a discount.
No.
Violent Night's a good movie.
It was good. It was fun.
Yeah. No, I'd buy that on DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
I think I read that one. Like, I'll buy a movie like 5 to 10, just because I might want to watch this again.
I just stopped doing that. Like, I've got so many movies over there that we've never watched, and I made the realization the other day that most like Marvel movies that came out, I've only seen one time.
I don't buy those as much since now they're on Disney Plus, and they're putting out enough that it's worth, subscribing to Disney Plus. So I have access to those movies to the point when Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania came out in theaters. You're like, we could do a review on this one. I'm like, we could. I'll try to get to the theater. I'm like, I didn't get to the theater. I don't want to. It'll be on Disney Plus. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm already paying for a service it's going to be on. Whereas the D&D one, I was kind of ready to see this one.
Yeah, it's please, if you like D&D, throw some money at it. I haven't, in our circle of friends, I haven't seen anybody that's trashed this movie yet.
Well, we'll actually have game tomorrow. We can gauge people's opinions.
Word.
If they've seen it.
Well, it's like I've run into quite a few other people that I know play D&D. Like, on the way out of the theater, we ran into a buddy of mine, Parker, and one of his friends that plays up at the Dragon. And I was like, you heading in the seat? And he's like, yeah. And like the next day at work, I was like, what'd you think? And he's like, I loved it. And I was like, hell yeah, But just throw a couple of bucks at it and go see a matinee or some shit like that. But I mean, it's worth...
Even if it's eventually you and 5 of your friends sitting on the couch renting it and throwing $4 at it.
Yeah.
So 5 people, $4. That's good.
Yeah, I'd love to see the continuing adventures of this. I'd love for them to start considering other characters to focus in on.
I'd like to see them kill Holga every movie, then just bring her back.
That'd be fantastic.
Because it's Michelle Rodriguez; she has to die in movies.
Well, the daughter will become a cleric, and then it's like, Mom, no.
Yeah.
And then bring her back, but gentle repose.
Which I one thing I did appreciate in this movie is you had Holga and Chris Pine, not in a relationship. They didn't try to force that shit. They could just have a man, like a straight man and a straight woman, just be friends. And they didn't try to jam random ass relationship down throats.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing? How are we gonna write these people? I don't know. Are they in love? Yeah. It just seems to be the lazy go around for writing is like, you could have people be friends and that's all they're interested in.
Yeah, the will they, won't they mechanic.
Yeah, that's so fucking boring. I hate that.
Yeah.
I like that she was just like, she was into halflings.
Mm-hmm. So I thought, I'll go ahead and admit it, I thought that part was weird.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, I mean, it's just, how does that work? Like, I mean, I guess I've never thought of it that way. You never see, like, half gnomes, or, I mean, it just, how does that work exactly? And I get...
But you've seen half giants.
That's true. I guess I never thought about it that way. It's just, I don't know. It was neat seeing a cameo of Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
But to me, while the part explains why she is the way she is, it felt kind of out of place to me in the movie. Because the way she was talking about it was like she was going to, like, not for closure, but like she was going to, like, basically go serve somebody. And then she just kind of sat there and listened to him. And it's like, I'm glad you're happy, and I'm glad that,
I wonder if it's just check in on him and maybe be like, is he maybe still interested in me, and try to gauge that whole thing or whatever.
Right. And then you meet the other girl.
Yeah, and I like that she comes out bummed, and the bard notices it and just kind of starts singing a song, and then they're happy, and like he cheers her up just by singing. It's not like, man, it's okay. It's just like, she's sad, I'm going to sing one of our favorite songs or whatever, and lift her mood.
Yeah, the movie was really, really good.
It was fun. I don't think it's deep. I don't think it's doing anything unexpected.
But it's funny.
But it's fun. It's funny in points, and it's fun.
Yeah, and like the all the magic was really well. Where are we at?
It's okay. We're almost an hour on it. We could be done shortly, unless you want to do guessing scores.
Yeah, I do want to do that part. See you. Oh crap! I pulled up the wrong movie. I have the other review pulled up.
Okay.
All right, so Donjons.
You're gonna start with IMDb?
Yes.
Okay. This one's been doing well, so I'm gonna guess 7.8.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
7.6.
Okay.
Very close.
Okay.
7.6 out of 10.
All right.
Very interesting. The Metascore, which is never right, I might add, is 72. Which
okay,
that's interesting.
Give him time.
And then Donjons and Dragons. All right, so the Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think the critics gave it?
83.
That's your final answer?
Yeah, sure.
90.
Okay.
90 for a D&D movie. That's crazy.
It's people have been talking about that.
How about the audience score?
You can go 78. Might as well keep it close to what my other guess was.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, we're going to stick with it.
94.
Wow.
Surprising. So it probably got a lot of the negative media in the beginning, and people were just like, fuck you, I want to go see this movie.
That's good.
And then like the word of mouth probably got out in opening weekend.
I didn't hear any negative media about it. I've only heard positive stuff.
It's... People were cannonballing it because of the whole Wizards of the Coast shit.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, D&D will never get another fucking penny of my money. And, I'm probably not going to be buying a WotC book. Because fuck Hasbro, but also... So, I know what WotC is, but do you want to say what WotC is for...
What, Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah, that's what that is.
WotC.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I've never had the need to buy...
It's usually one group needs one book.
Right. And then it always happens where, like, Shane has the bulk of them just because he likes having the books. We all buy the player's handbook, at least. If you're a GM, you buy a DMG. And then you need, like, a monsters manual. And then, like, after that, it's like one person will pick up Xanathars, another person will pick up Tasha and bring it to the table.
But, so, I will be happy buying WotC products when they're good. Like, I think Tasha's was good. I bought that one.
Good feats, good spells.
Yeah. They put out, like, Strixhaven. That was bad. Didn't buy that one.
Well, it's just all background and stuff, right?
Strixhaven was like another campaign, but they threw in, like, some feats. They threw in some other shit, and they're trying to do too much. They want everyone to buy a book. They want a book that players will want to buy. They want a book that DMs will buy. They want a book, like... So and then they're trying to put it as an adventure, too, because they don't make money off adventures, really. And by trying to put too much, it wasn't very good. Where if it was just like a campaign book or like an adventure or something like that for the DM to run, and it was DM material, maybe it would be better. Because I think one of the draws of that book was having it be like you're in a school or whatever. You want to have like some cool NPC stats. So make a good chunk of the book just a bunch of NPCs. That's really only useful to the DM, but that's all they need or whatever. Just put in some quality product or whatever. Like the Planescape book, they were just putting out stuff that was busted. They had to retcon their Hadizee race because it could glide at like Mach 3.
Oh, that's the one that can eternally glide or whatever?
Well, for every 1 foot it falls, it glide 5 feet. And you fall 500 feet in a round, which means as an action or as a movement, he moves 5 feet off a cliff, sails like 2,500 feet in the span of no time, and then lands, walks his other 25 feet, and casts a spell and uses a bonus action to do it. Like, what the hell? No one was thinking about that shit. So it's just that's as a person who enjoys the rules, I see them not caring about the rules, and then as a person who cares about like I don't care about the lore. I want like rules, and I want like a cool like give me a setting, like but don't like here's what like maybe if you're giving me a setting, give me the lore of a creature, but like in the Mordenkainen's whatever the one where they put out like all the updated stats for races where I'm like, if you're going to play this one, play it from this book because it's broken in this book. They don't need to put a blurb at the front of it about their lore because I don't give a shit. I'm going to make it up for myself. Or this is the lore as it pertains to the Forgotten Realms. How often do we play in Forgotten Realms?
Not hardly ever.
I think we have once. And it was your game, and we were doing it as a cop style game, whereas in the Forgotten Realms part kind of got tossed out and we used the names.
Yeah. Yeah, we used the names of the cities and everything like that, but we weren't using it.
Because you just wanted a pre-made city that's ready and good for you to go that was a large metropolis. Well, Waterdeep's right there.
Yep.
No work necessary. And then what was necessary about the thing we didn't really care about. Because I think my character's like a princess of Kalimshan. I don't even know if Kalimshan has a princess. We're like, who gives a shit?
Not me.
Yeah. I rolled in Xanathars and happened to roll that my character grew up in a palace. I'm like, she's a princess of Kalimshan, whatever.
When I see a new book, I always crack it open and look for 3 things. Feats, spells, and races. And that's the very 3 things I looked for. I went through, I don't remember what the new book was, but they just put out a new book, I think. I was in Walmart and I spotted it on the shelf and I opened it up and it was just like, this is about this in the city and this is the background of this. And I literally flipped through a couple of pages, went to the contents at the front and kind of went, nap, and stuck it right back on the shelf.
So... in the end, what annoyed me, because similar thing, I'm interested in like what the book is bringing. WotC isn't doing it. Third-party stuff was. In January, WotC was trying to squash third-party content. Well, unfortunately for them, third-party content's the stuff that's interesting in keeping their game alive. So, fuck them. But if they can start putting out quality shit again, then I'll be interested in. And this movie, I think, was quality shit. So, put out more movies, and that's how you'll get my money. Put out better books, and maybe that's how you'll get my money, too. But at the moment, 1D&D is not looking great to me. It's making me look at it and go, we could play 4th edition again. We've got all those books. And sure, it'd be fun to play 4th edition.
I think there was a whole lot of speculation around 5th Ed when it came out, and then we started playing it, and we were kind of like, okay, this is neat.
And once I was reading 5th edition, I'm like, this is pretty fucking good. They kind of merged 3, 5, and 4th. And kind of got the rules textiness of 4th edition and kind of made it natural language that people seem to clamor for. And now I look at it and go, wow, when we play 5th edition and like with not just our group, but a bunch of different groups where people read a spell and because it's vague or it's in natural language, they don't know what the fuck it does, and they try to like do things with it. And now I've got to like that's not how that spell works. I'm sorry, but like you're trying to do something really cool with the spell, but that's not what the spell like. It's what you're trying to do with it would be fucking great and probably not a first level spell.
Yeah, you need meta magic shit to like do some of the stuff you're trying to do.
Whereas when it was in 5th edition or 4th edition, I don't think we were ever confused about what one of our powers would do.
Well, the cards were very fleshed out.
No,
Plus,
it was bam, short, concise, right there. What it did.
It was Magic the Gathering meets fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, just I know a lot of people shit on 4th Ed, but I know that we've got a lot of fond memories of like 4th Ed, so we do need to do that again someday.
I hear people like D&D's role playing. Who gives a shit about the rules? But it's to me, we're playing a game. And we're role playing. I want to be able to do the fun tactical combat shit that we do, and then I also want to be able to do like the quick kingly diplomacy session, whatever, and have aspects to it. I don't want it to all be one. I don't want it to all be the other. And by having loosey goosey tabletop rules, then when you're sitting it down at the table, I mean, at that point in time, we might as well just freeform role play if the rules suck.
I can't argue with that logic. And the rules are there for a reason. That's what keeps it fun.
Yeah.
So.
And if people just want to role play, I mean, D&D's fun. There are better systems for loosey goosey.
If you want to role play, just go do a LARP.
Yeah, I mean, LARPing's fun. I mean, cooperative writing. I mean, shit, you can do like play by post stuff and on online if you want no rules whatsoever. Fate was fun for just kind of like.
It was a lot of fun.
For just like sitting around talking games, you're still getting to make dice rolls, and if you're not making dice rolls, if chance and fate or whatever isn't playing into it, then write it down. You're writing a story with your friends. Don't play a game. Monster of the Week was fun, and that one was short, concise. Sort of your character can do a few little things, but for the most part, it's mostly narrative with a couple little things that describe how the little narration goes or whatever.
That game was fun because Shane put a Mogwai in a microwave.
It was fun.
It was hilarious. It was fucking horrifying, but it was hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
Because his character did not think twice. The kid was like, "It's my Mogwai," and he's like, "Nope." Beep, beep, beep. That shit was fucking hilarious. All right. Do we have anything else to say about D&D Honor Among Thieves?
I think we've been not talking about this movie for a while. We've just been gushing about D&D in general.
Yeah. It's good.
It's good.
It's very good. Go see it.
It's not... You're not watching an Oscar-winning sort of thing. You're not watching something super original. It's derivative, but it doesn't matter because it's fun.
Okay, how about this? Would you say it's the best D&D movie yet?
Man, look at me as I step over this low bar.
Yeah, that's a very slow pitch. Yeah, go see it.
Yeah.
But, all right, I think we've done the thing.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Go forth, adventurers.